What if I told you there was a man who gave himself a nickname because he wanted the world to fear him? Not the media, not the police. Him, bind, torture, kill. Hello, I'm Light, and today we're diving into the disturbing story of Dennis Rader, the man who called himself BTK, and how his need for attention ultimately destroyed him. Let's get into it. In 1974, in Wichita, Kansas, a family of 4 was found murdered inside their home. Joseph Otero, his wife, Julie, and 2 of their children. They had been bound, strangled, carefully restrained. There was no robbery, no random chaos. The Kate was controlled, methodical. Whoever did this wasn't impulsive. The Kate had planned it, and he would do it again. Months later, a letter arrived at a local newspaper. Inside it was a detailed confession of the Otero murders. Tara demanded attention. He wanted the public to know there was a serial killer in Wichita. He signed it with initials that would soon become infamous: BTK, bind, torture, kill. This wasn't just murder, it was branding. Dennis Rader was born in 1945, raised in a typical Midwestern household. Quiet, unremarkable. He later described feeling ignored as a child, invisible. That feeling would grow into something darker. As a teenager, Rader developed violent fantasies. He admitted to being fascinated with bondage, control, and domination. Not spontaneous violence, control. That word defines everything about him. In 1977, he killed again. Shirley Vian, Nancy Fox. He would stalk victims for weeks, sometimes months, watching them, learning their routines, breaking into homes when they weren't there just to feel the power of being inside their private space. He called these moments projects, not people, projects. He bound his victims, tortured them psychologically, strangled them slowly. He often took souvenirs, driver's licenses, personal items, even photographs. He staged himself. This wasn't about anger, it was about fantasy fulfillment. But here's what makes this case disturbing on another level. Dennis Rader had a normal life. He worked for a DT Security for a period of time, company that installs alarm systems. Think about that, serial killer installing security systems. He became a compliance officer in his city, enforcing minor municipal rules, boarding people for tall grass, harassing neighbors over code violations. He went to church regularly. He was married, had 2 children. It's the outside world. He was just another suburban man. That duality is what makes BTK terrifying. He didn't live in chaos, he lived in structure. Between 1974 and 1991, BTK killed 10 people. And then he stopped. No more letters, no more bodies. He vanished. For decades, the case went cold. Police had DNA evidence, but technology wasn't advanced enough to match it. Many believed he was dead, but he wasn't. He was watching. In 2004, after nearly 30 years of silence, BTK resurfaced. He sent another letter. Why? Because the media had started covering other serial killers. He felt forgotten. His ego couldn't handle it. He mailed packages to television stations, included crime scene details, photos, messages. He even left a cereal box with a doll inside, posed to mimic one of his murders. He wanted attention, recognition, control over the narrative. At one point, he asked police a question through a newspaper ad. He asked if a floppy disk could be traced. Police responded publicly, saying no, it was a lie, and he believed it. In 2005, Dennis Rader mailed a floppy disk to authorities. For someone who prided himself on intelligence and control, this was pure arrogance. Investigators traced the disk's metadata. It led to a church computer. The file was linked to a user named Dennis Rader, his church, his city, his home. They obtained a DNA sample from his daughter's medical records and matched it to the crime scene evidence from decades earlier. 30 years of mystery ended because he needed validation. On February 25, 2005, Dennis Rader was arrested while driving near his home. He looked ordinary. No dramatic villain energy, just a middle-aged man in glasses. During interrogation, he was disturbingly calm. He referred to the murders as if discussing work assignments. When detectives asked why he killed, he spoke about Factor X, a dark impulse inside him. He described stalking victims with pride, explained how he would fantasize for years. There was no remorse, only explanation. In court, he detailed his murders with chilling detachment. He was sentenced to 10 consecutive life sentences, without the possibility of parole. He will die in prison. Now here's the psychological core of this case. BTK wasn't driven purely by violence. He was driven by ego. He wanted to be known. He wanted headlines. He wanted a legacy. The murders were acts of control. The letters were acts of narcissism. And ultimately, his need to be recognized exposed him. If he had stayed silent, he might never have been caught. Think about that. Own desire for validation destroyed him. He wasn't caught by genius detective work alone. He was caught by his own arrogance. The BTK case forces an uncomfortable realization. Monsters don't always look chaotic. Sometimes they are organized, disciplined, patient. They can live beside you for decades, attend church, raise children, complain about your lawn being too tall, at day and at night, live in a completely different psychological world. Dennis Rader built 2 identities: family man, serial killer. In the end, the killer wanted to be remembered more than the man wanted to stay free, a tease, and that decision sealed his fate. This wasn't just a story about murder, it was a story about ego, control, and the dangerous need to be seen. That was the story of BTK. A man who wanted to be remembered more than he wanted to be free. Cases like this remind us that evil doesn't always look chaotic. Sometimes it's organized, patient, hidden in plain sight. If you found this case disturbing, that's because it should be. This is the Light Files. I'll see you in the next video with another case that reminds us how thin the line between normal and monstrous can be. Until then, stay aware,